Alright, thanks for being part of this. We are going to look at management functions in information systems. I am Serungo Mademian, and we want to get started with our discussions. We are going to be able to answer this when we're looking at the management of information systems. We majorly want to look at what is the managerial role in an information system. And we want to look at this guy called Fayol. Fayol was a French researcher in management, the field of management, and what he basically did was to look at the 4 management functions that all managers do. And one of them is he said that all managers do the planning, they do organize, and then they command, they coordinate and control. So he majorly looked at those as the major operations that all managers do in organizations. They execute all those 5. They plan, they organize, they coordinate and command, then they also do the control. So those are the major things that all managers he looked at, and he verified that all managers they do the 5 operations. So according to Fayol, when you look at his ideology, we are looking at the planning session, that all managers do the planning, and once all managers do the planning, you're looking at the execution or the examination of the future. They do examine the future and they draw plans for the actions. So all managers do manage and they execute. All the execution, we are looking at their planning for the future. They need to look at what is coming in the future. What shall we need to manage? What shall we need to look at? So they need to lay out or draw a plan for all those activities that are foreseen. He further said that yes, if you look at the planning, you also need to do the organization. You need to organize, to have the structures to ensure that all that you are planning, all the activities that you are foreseeing are met, or they are met as expected. You need to organize the structures, the materials and the human resources to ensure that the organization meets its target. Okay. The third function he outlined is that all managers do command. Commanding means maintaining the activities among the personnel. You need to command these people to ensure that they execute as the plan is stating everything to be. Otherwise, if you don't command these people, you might not realize or get what you need to get out of them. The 4th function say that all managers, they do coordinate. Coordination means coordinating the activities that are running within an organization and outside. So when you look at the coordination, we are simply binding together or unifying or harmonizing all activities so that they are coordinated and geared towards the organization meeting its goals. That is the ideology of Fayol, a researcher. He further said, yes, we have the coordination, we have the command, we have the organization and the planning, but we need also to control, to have a control of all activities that are carried out in an organization. You need to have proper control. Otherwise, if you don't have control over the activities that are happening, you might not realize your goals. So control looks at everything that happens within the company, within the conformity, and they are operating within the policies set and the practices that this organization works with. Otherwise, if you don't control these activities, many times the activities or the plan that you have might not fetch results. Looking at that, the files management theories, we have a modern management functions. The modern management functions, majorly modern managers do the four. They do plan, they organize, they lead and control. So realize that there is something that is missing in this. There is something called command. I assure you, many of the workers these days, many of the organizations, the people who work in different organizations, they don't want to be commanded. Command is not a good practice. Otherwise, people have learned, have gone to school, they know what they are doing. So you as a manager, what do you need to do? You have basically four operations, four functions that you need to carry out in all information systems. You need to plan. You need to plan always, just like Fire stated. You need to do or execute the planning. The planning always has to be there. So when you're looking at the planning, you are simply defining an organization's goals. You are defining what you need to achieve. And you need to establish overall strategy. You need to establish an overall strategy for achieving these goals. You need to have a strategy on how you are going to achieve the target. How are you going to achieve the goals? Otherwise, if you don't have a strategy on achieving those goals, you have not planned well. Developing a comprehensive hierarchy of plans it should be part of you. You should have a hierarchy of a plan. Suppose we have plan A doesn't work. What shall we do next? Suppose this doesn't work. What will be the backup plan? What will be plan B? Some people, you need to have always plan A, plan B, and plan C. Suppose plan A doesn't work. Shall we abandon the progress? Shall we abandon the whole target? You should be able to carry on. You should be able to anticipate what is coming in the future. Then what are possible barriers that are going to hinder it from being achieved? Can you reduce the impact of those? Can you do the planning that yes, we shall have in order to attain plan A? We should have these stages. We should have these steps taken: A, B, C, D. And once those stages are taken, you are supposed to see results. That means you are doing a proper planning. You should sit down your crew. You should sit down your members, the people whom you are working with, your team, and ensure that you do the planning as a whole team. Otherwise, if you simply sit down and you rely on your head and learn on your ideas, sometimes it might work and sometimes it might fail to work. So that's why you need to plan as a crew. You need to plan as a team. Team leading should be part of you. Okay? And after doing the planning, managers normally they need to do the organizing. They should have that organizing element within them. Otherwise, if you don't have that organizing element within your operations, you'll never attain your goals. So organizing, you are simply describing an organization structure. You need to organize and have a structure that is going to help you to attain your goals. So on the function of organizing, you should be able to look at the allocation and the configuration of resources to accomplish a specific task, a specific goal or objectives set when you're doing the planning. Otherwise, if you don't do all that and you don't organize the resources, how are we going to achieve this plan that you have baked? How are you going to achieve the plan that you have developed? Wait, you have not organized the resources, the few resources that you have in your organization, the few resources that you have in your information systems. If you are planning to do the registration of students, can you organize and see to it that you have enough resources with the hardware, with the software, with the humanware? Do you have all those resources? Can you organize them, have them packaged together? Look at the hardware. Is it functional? Have the organization done. Otherwise, if you don't organize all the resources, you may realize that yes, you have a good plan, but you have failed to organize the resources that you need to ensure that you have those plans executed. So organizing looks at who is to do a singular task. Have a capability of outlining these tasks and allocate them to individual people so that you can be able to attain results out of them. Be able to know how the tasks are to be grouped. Can you group these tasks and allocate it to different teams? That's what managers do. Be able to know who reports to whom. That is very important. Otherwise, many times we have different organizations, we have different groups or different teams, but we don't have a proper leader. We don't have an established leader. And any team without a leader, it cannot attain its goals. Any organization without a leader cannot attain its goals. That's why you need to be able to understand and allocate these tasks. Group them and allocate them to specific people. Organized in a group. This group is normally known as a team. Have them done within teams. Have the tasks executed within the work of a team leader. Know all who is on the team and what is he going to do, what is he capable of doing. Understand, you need to have an understanding of the entire team. Then you need to take decisions where need be. You need to be able to take those decisions. You need to know who executes which task and who reports under whom, so that you know if the team leader takes a decision to execute something, all others need to be in and need to follow his decision or her decision. Then you need also to establish the rules and procedures. Otherwise, if you don't have the rules and procedures, you cannot effectively organize your teams. You cannot effectively organize your information systems. You need the rules, you need the procedures to be able to know, okay, we have these resources, we have these people around, we have so and so, we have Segundi is capable of doing this, is capable of doing that. Maybe Segundi will be able to bond with nameless A or name Damian B. Okay, so once the two work together, you know, as a team leader, I know these two people are friends and they work out things the right way. So if I bond so and so who is capable of doing this particular item, and you bond him with another person, have them on one team, you are sure that your target will be achieved. Otherwise, if you can't formulate such small teams, you cannot easily do what you need to execute. That's why you need to have that embedded, created, and you copy every single task, attribute it to a particular group of people, and you will be able to attain your needs. You will be able to attain what you need to attain. Okay, so that's what we need to do as a team. That's what we need to do as a manager of a particular item. If even if you are even if you are in operations, even if you are in tactical or strategic, you always need to have a plan. You need always to have an organized team. Teamwork is always necessary to attain a particular goal. Then we also need to look at what we call leading. Managers do lead. They are leaders. That is a proper function. It is one of the functions that all managers do. Leading. Leadership is very, very important in managerial skills. You need to have a proper leadership skills. And when you look at leadership, when you look at leading, we are looking at establishing direction and influencing people to follow that direction. You are looking at the direction, establishing a direction and influencing others to follow that direction, as long as that direction leads to attaining a proper goal, as long as that direction leads you to attaining the goals of the organization. So coordinating the people within an organization should be part of your leadership. And when you're leading these people, you need to look at certain things. You need to look at motivating your subordinates. You need to look at motivating the people you're going to work with. Otherwise, if you don't motivate these people, be sure no one is going to be in uh, in good footing, in good relations to do with you, because you don't have a proper leadership skills. You need to influence them. You need to motivate them. If need be, if you need, they need to have monetary motivation. Have something planned for them so that you can actually give them something. At the end of the day, they go home happy. That's what leaders do. They need to motivate them. You need to motivate your people you're working with. Otherwise, if you don't motivate these people, many times these people normally come to work when they are frustrated. They have problems at their work, their homes. They have personal problems. They just need to be motivated, even if it is just thank you. Thank you seems to be so small, but it motivates. It's one factor that motivates someone to know that someone appreciates my efforts. It is worth it. It is worth my efforts. It is worth putting something, putting an effort to ensure that the organization meets its goals because someone has said thank you. You need to be able, as you are a leader, you need to be able to make a selection of the most effective communication channels. That's what leadership is all about. Communication is very important. Once you fail to communicate with the people you are working with, many times it's going to go down drain. It's going to fail. Okay, so you need to have a selection of the most effective communication channels that you need to use when you're dealing with leadership. Okay, leading also looks at solving conflicts and resolving them. You need to solve them and resolve them. Otherwise, human beings are the most troublesome uh, resources to manage in an information system. You can manage hardware, you can manage software, but human beings are very naughty. They are troublesome. They are not very easy to manage. So you need to make sure that you as a leader, you need to have a function of leadership, of leading others, and once you are a leader, you should be able to solve problems, and then you also resolve all conflicts that might arise. In an organization, people have different tempers, they have different characters, and someone can easily knock off someone's character, someone's behavior, can be able to, maybe you're doing something and you're working as a team, but because someone is short-tempered, is going to lose it. You as a leader, how are you going to resolve all those conflicts? Someone in an organization, it's possible that some we might have guys on a team, and they have put ladies within the same team. How are you going to resolve issues that might arise because of that lady? You as a leader, you should be exemplary. You should be able to lead others, and once you're a leader, you should be able to be part. You should be part of the team. You are simply a leader. You are not a dictator or a ruler. There is a difference between those ones. The ruler, the dictator, and the leader. You just need to be a leader. You need to take decision. You need to establish a direction and let other people follow you. That means you are taking lead. You are supposed to be an example to others. Otherwise, if you're not, it's not going to work. You as a manager, it's not going to work. You are going to fail on the information system that you are trying to establish. So looking at that, we also need to look at the controlling. Managers need to be able to control, to ensure that they are monitoring the activities, to ensure that they are accomplishing tasks as planned. Otherwise, if you don't control the activities, it is possible that one activity might be delaying another. So how are you going to monitor them? How are you going to control the activities and the tasks that are supposed to be executed and on time? Managers need to have control of an information system. They need to have the function of controlling all resources that are going to be taking part in an information system. They need to have a correcting factor. They need to correct any significant deviation from the previous set goals. Once you have planned something, you need to control the resources. You need to control who accesses which resource and who is capable of doing which item. Look at the resource, the human resources that you have. Can you control them? Can you control the hardware that you have, the available hardware? Can you control the software that is available? Can you control the finances? Can you control the people and the procedures that they are supposed to follow? Can you have a set policy to ensure that yes, possibly there is this resource, but how are you going to interact with that resource? How are the people, your human resource, how are they utilizing the hardware resources? How are they utilizing the software resources? And can they attain their set targets within the time frame set or not? So you as a manager, you need to control the information system. You need to control the entire components of the information system. You need to control the data. You need to control the information that is processed. Otherwise, once it goes out of hand, many times you are going to fail on how to manage the entire system. You're going to fail on how to manage or control the entire efforts that are supposed to ensure that we are meeting our set goals. So those are the managerial functions. These are managerial functions of an information system. They are simply looking at the managerial functions of an information system. We are looking at what is the managerial role in an information system. After looking at that, we have said we are looking at the planning. You need to look at the planning. You need to look at the organizing function. You need to look at the command, the coordinating, and the control. However, when you look at the files management theory, you realize that this is going to be missing. Okay, so when you look at the modern, we are looking at the planning, the organizing, leading, and controlling, and that's what normally managers do. They do the planning, they do the organizing, they do the leadership, and they control the resources that are supposed to be taking part of the information system. Okay, so those are the major functions of management in an information system. 4 of them: plan, look at what is coming in the future, organize all resources, have all resources streamlined to attaining the target goals, then take lead, be part of the group, own the tasks, own the functions, own the leadership, have everything streamlined to attaining the goals of the organization or the information system. Then please do the controlling, control the resources. You realize that once you do the 4, you are going to be able to attain a properly functional information system. Okay, so let's now look at what we call the management roles. The ones that we have discussed were functions. Now we want to look at the roles. What is the role of management in an information system? What is the managerial role in an information system? What do they play? What is their contribution in an information system? And when you look at that, we're majorly going to look at the management roles as majorly 3. We are looking at the interpersonal role. Managers normally, they need always to look at the interpersonal role. What we mean by interpersonal role, you realize that many managers, they are simply looking at what am I going to earn? What am I going to get out of this? They are not looking at the people they are going to work with. They are not looking at the interpersonal roles. Can you look at your relationship with the people you're working with? Then, once you look at the relationship between you and the people you are leading, many times you're going to simply look at the provision of this information. Once you provide the information between you and the people you're leading, it's going to take you to the processing of that information, and you'll be looking at the second role of information. You need to be able to disseminate information. You need to be able to look at how is this information going to flow from one point to another. After looking at your interpersonal role, your relationship with the people you're working with, and you're going to give information, and this information needs to be, you need to manage it. You need to process this information at this level. Your role as a manager, you need to be able to control the information that is processed. Otherwise, it is possible that you're going to lose control of that information that is processed, and your information is going to leak to some other company. To be able to control that, you need always to control the information. You need to process that information, and once you have processed that information, you need to be able to give that information back to the people you're leading. Sometimes this information is processed within an organization, and other times this information can flow from other sources. So you are in control of the information system, and you need to always control which information comes from out and which information is processed within. Then which information needs to be disseminated to whom it might concern, and which information needs to be reserved as confidential information. So once you have the information flowing in, it should be able to be taken as feedback to the people you're leading. Okay, that's at the informational role. That's the information role of the managers. All managers, they need to process and to be able to control the information that they are looking at or they are processing in an organization. Looking at that, you realize that that information still, because you are controlling and you are working, you're going in good terms with the people you're leading, you'll be able to use this information to make decisions. The decision making is part of the functions of managers. Decisions. You need to take decisions as a leader. Take decisions, and whichever decision that you have taken, please ensure that that decision, its information flows back to the people you are leading. Otherwise, you as a leader and you don't have the information role, you cannot disseminate the right information. Many times it is going to be misleading to the people you're leading. You need to have the information generated, and you use that information to make decisions. Those decisions, whatever decision that you've taken, ensure that the people you're leading have the right information about the decision you are taking. Otherwise, if you missing out on the decision making, and whatever decision that you've taken, the people you're leading do not have a clue, or they don't have knowledge about whatever that you've decided, they are going to end up doing contrary from what you have planned, from what you have decided, and it will all put the whole organization to a mess. So you need to make sure that you have proper decision making, and that decision, you use the information that you have processed at the information level, and then you make decisions. That those decisions, whatever that you have disseminated as your decision, please inform the people you're leading. Don't impose or superimpose yourself to these people. Don't. Just be a leader and have the role into play when you're processing this information. Let the information system flow the right way, so that all people have the right information at the right time. You have a proper understanding between you, and there is a proper understanding between you and the people you're leading. That is interpersonal. Make sure that you understand these people you're leading. Just make sure that you understand them. Have a feel of their anxieties. Have a feel of what they need. If they need a party, you throw a party so that they are motivated. But at the end of the day, have the information disseminated at the right time, so that we don't have red tapes in the flow of information. Okay? So Looking at that, it takes us to what we call the management skills. Managers need to have proper skills. The question is, which skills do you need as a manager? You need skills to ensure that you as a manager, you ensure proper management of the entire organization and proper management of the information systems. One of the things that you need to have as a manager is technical skills. You need technical skills. You need to exhibit the ability to apply specialized knowledge and expertise. We need to see that you know what you are doing. If you're a manager and you don't have those technical skills, you want to possibly implement an information system, but you do not have an idea of what IT system you want to bring to a company. You don't have a slightest idea. You want to implement it because you have heard someone talk about it. You've heard someone boasting about it. The question is, do you know what implications it has to an organization? Do you know the technicalities involved to establish such a system? So be sure that you can answer the following questions. Do you know what you are doing? Technically, do you know what you're doing? Do you know the impact of this information system to both the organization and the people you're leading? Do you know the technicalities involved in management of this information system? You need to know the technical skills. You need to have them. Don't simply implement the system because it is a trending system. No. It's not about the trending system. It's all about having the proper decisions and executing or managing the right information system at the right time. So after looking at that, you need to you need to ask yourself, have I ever used the system before? Can I still do the same thing the right way? And can you teach or help others to learn how the system is used? Those technicalities, you need to answer them. You as one, as long as you are looking at the management of an information system, you need to know the skills that you need to have. If you're lacking such skills, the technicalities involved in an information system, please, it's a wise idea to always draw back and look at the technicalities involved, get to learn them, and then try as much as possible to try it first before you implement it to the organization. Okay, so a skill to know a, a particular technicalities involved, it is very, very necessary. Otherwise, it is possible that you are going to simply bring in someone to be a manager of an information system, IT based information system, and this person has nothing to do with IT. This person is simply a manager of a business. This person has been trading somewhere, maybe fisheries, and you bring, because he's your cousin, because he's your aunt, because he's your uncle, because he's your niece, and you're bringing this person on board to be a manager of an information system. He doesn't have any slightest idea of what an information system is. But because he's one person that is brought on board, because my uncle is the top manager, maybe my uncle is the CEO of a company, and you bring such a person on board, be sure the system might fail. The system is going to go down drain. Why? Because someone doesn't have the technical knowledge. So technicalities involved are very, very important to know. Then you also need to look at the human skills, the human management. You need to have the ability to work with an understanding of others and to be able to motivate them. You have to be with empathy. You need to have the ability to work with others, to blend in with others. You as a manager, you need to know the people you're going to work with. You need to be a good listener to their problems. You need to be a problem solver. These people normally meet a lot of challenges and they meet a lot of needs when they are executing or looking at the set targets for that information system to be accomplished. They need to have things they need to face. They're going to face a lot of challenges, both in implementation and transition from one system to another system. They need to be with a leader who is going to help them solve their problems. They need a leader who is going to be able to listen to their problems. They need a leader who is going to be a problem solver. They need a leader who is going to understand their operations. They need a leader who is tolerant to their personality. These guys, at times, the people whom you work with, many times they might lose it. They might lose temper. Someone might be not feeling fine. Can you give him a break? So someone might be good at maybe programming. Another person is good in systems administration. But the two are not going to work together because they have wrangles somewhere. Maybe they have the same girlfriend who is playing them. So you as a leader, you need to have an interpersonal skill, an interpersonal management skill to be able to blend in, so that it is at times very hard for someone to detect that yes, we have a CEO in the house. We have a top manager in the house. You are simply a leader. You are there to lead others. You need to be part of them. Okay? There's a saying in the Bible, if a good shepherd needs to be with his flock. A good shepherd needs to be like his sheep. Okay? So if you're not like your own sheep, how are you going to lead them? You need to be part of your team. You need to be they need to feel your presence as a leader. They need to have that comfort. So that is a human interpersonal relationship skill. You need to be able to relate with the people you're going to work with. It's a skill that all managers need to have. Okay, so you also need to have a conceptual skill. So when you look at the conceptual skill, you must have a mental ability to analyze and diagnose complex situations. You need to look at them, anticipate, you need to make a projection of what is coming in the future. Then you need to analyze, is it good or is it bad? You should be able to have a good decision making skill. If it is going to negatively impact the organization, then do you have possible solutions? Do you have any alternatives? You need to have a quick analyzing mind, a quick decision making, a proper decision making leader is what and any organization would love to have. So looking at that, you need to be having the ability to easily spot the problems and identify alternatives. Then you need to evaluate the impact of those spotted problems. You need to evaluate them. What is their impact? Can we forego it? Can we hit it head on or not? If we hit it head on, what is their impact? What is that impact that we are going to feel as an organization? Is it negative? Is it positive? If it is negative, how much do we have to lose? Can the impact be reduced? What are the alternatives that we need to go in for if we need to reduce that impact? Okay, so you need to have all those decisions taken. Otherwise, if you don't have those decisions taken, many times you as a manager, you as a leader, you are not going to steer your organization or your information systems to attaining the organization goals. That's all that you need to know, and you will be set. Until next time, may God bless you. Please keep safe. Keep the mask on, covering both the nose and the mouth. Sanitize, social distance. And that's all we need to fight COVID-19. May God bless you. Until next time, inshallah.